Welcome to Stylish Cost Calculator tutorial for Basic Elements Explained. In this video, we are going to explain each and every element on the cost calculator so that you can apply it for your business. If you're new to Stylish Cost Calculator, it is a cost calculator where users can click on different products and services that you have that they're interested in, and at the end of the day, get a quote, a total price. An estimate, whatever you want to call it. They can click the detailed list button and get an invoicing style printout. There's a few things that they can do. You can link it to Stripe and PayPal if you wish. They can email themselves the quote by putting their details. You can force it so that you can turn off the total price here and hide it so that they're forced to click on this in order to find out the total price. That can be a lead magnet. You can even integrate this with Zapier and create automation. There's coupons, there's a coupon feature, there's quite a few features nowadays that is just making this not just a cost calculator more, it's becoming more than just that. But today's video is going to focus on what each and every element is and how you can tie it to your business, because it's not just for a web development company. You can do it if you're a cleaning company, a t-shirt printing company, a car rental, content writing, photographer, DJ, wedding venue. We've seen this in all types of different use cases. I think we've probably seen about 100 different industries that have used this calculator so far. So for this, we are going to do make a new calculator here for example purposes. And we're just going to explain everything but the slider. The slider will be a video on its own. So by creating a new calculator here, you're already presented with just a drop-down menu by default and a section and a section description. And we just give you that by default. But you do have the different elements that you can create here, which is a drop-down, a checkbox, a toggle switch, a button, a slider, a comment box, a quantity box or a number input box, custom math, also known as variable math, a file upload, let's say a photo or something, and then there's the raw text and HTML field. And we're going to go one by one on these. We're going to touch a little bit on the slider, but we're going to have a separate video on the slider since there is extra complexities with the slider that need to be addressed on a video by itself. So starting with the first one, which is, well, first actually, let's get into what a section is, what a subsection is, and then, yeah, pretty much it's separated into subsections and sections. Well, if every time that you create a section, you get the chance to put in a name and a description. So it's just a way of adding kind of extra titles here, more or less, to kind of separate different elements. So for example, if you're a wedding photographer and you do the ceremony and the main day and you kind of want to separate those sections, you can, that's something that you can do that with. If you're a t-shirt printing company and you want to get the basics down in one section and then talk about something else in a different section, then that's another reason why you would use those and do it that way. Sections have their settings in this gearbox over here, and then if you want and then the calculator itself has calculator level settings here, and then there's also global settings in the global settings menu, which is if you click here and then click on global settings here. So that's another thing that to address. So you got pretty much three different settings sections. You got the calculator level settings, which any setting here is going to impact only this calculator if you have more than one calculator on your website or on a single page. Global settings are things like, you know, putting in your Stripe code if your Stripe key, if you integrating with Stripe or PayPal or things like that. So those are going to be at the global level. And then you also have the settings here, and then each element itself, if you open it up, there's also an advanced settings as well, and those settings there impact only the element itself. So basically, I guess we can go into a little bit of details about the calculator settings. The form fields and element styles is basically just the look of the cost calculator. So for example, style number 1, the titles are on the left side, and style number 2, this here is going to be full width and the title is going to be on top. So it's just a way you can actually put your mouse over the eye icon to get a glimpse of what the difference is between each style. We have the info button here, tooltip, to explain a little bit about what each setting does, and then some settings here have the eye tool where you can get a glimpse of what that setting does, so that you're not guessing. We also have a search box here too, so if you type in the word tax, you can click on that and it's going to highlight and show you where that setting is. So we're trying to make this as user friendly for you guys as possible. With if you have WooCommerce, there's some settings here. If you don't have it, then disregard it. Your user action buttons, those are down here: the email button, the detailed list button, the coupon button, and then if you have Stripe and PayPal, it'd be those, and if you have WooCommerce, there'd be an add to cart button. So you got some settings here that relate to that. Your total price settings relates to the total price down here, pretty self-explanatory. You got some different styles for the total price. You got 4 different styles, which you can see here. You got style number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just different ways of displaying your price list. You can turn on a floating price list if you want. You can just remove the total price. That's good for people who want to capture leads. You even have a minimum total price. You can put $200 and you can hide the total price until the person selects at least a minimum of $200 worth of stuff, or 200 euros, or whatever your currency is. The detailed list settings are settings that impact the invoice style detailed list, which is there. You got tax settings. You can add tax to your cost calculator. Your currency settings, how your currency symbol is displayed, whether or not you want it to have, let's say, your euros or Canadian dollars, US dollars. Do you want it to be the letters after the number, or do you want the symbol to come first? Or do you just want to remove that symbol entirely? If, let's say for example, you're a medicine dosage calculator and you're showing people how much dosage they should get depending on how much they weigh, then you don't want a currency at all. So for those examples, you're going to turn on this setting. You can change the font style in the PDF when a PDF gets generated. You got some email settings as well, and we just introduced the webhook events, which is really cool. So you can hook this up with Zapier, and the possibilities are pretty much limitless at this point. We do have a video on that, so feel free to go to our YouTube channel, click on our playlist, and check out all the videos on our playlist. You're gonna see all the different things there, and the webhooks has a setting there. I think we're gonna put a little icon here, probably a picture of a book or something, where if you click on it, it goes to the article that's associated with the feature that you're looking at, or the setting that you're on, so that it's easier for you guys to be able to link back to the knowledge base tutorials on each one of these settings. So it gives it, so yeah. So we do have a knowledge base thing on that. You can also click on down here and just type in webhooks for now, and then you got some links here on the webhooks if you want to check out our knowledge base. So that is pretty much it for that. So that is the settings explained. Translations is not just translations. So if you're in a different language and you want some of the wording of the buttons to be changed in your language, and you can go ahead and translate that here. But this is also good too if you just want to change how things are said, because you might still be English, but you want to kind of change how things are said. So this is a good way to add a new word, to do your word changes or your language translations. Once you're done building the cost calculator, this is your total. This is your shortcut to add the total to the page, and this would be for the advanced total this here is I'll explain what this is. If you want to add an additional calculator total, that's happening right here on this example in our web designer template. If I change the price down here, you'll see it's also changing there. So this is good for people who want to display their total price somewhere else on their page. But you can actually get really fancy with this stuff. You can combine two calculators. So let's say you have two calculators on a page, and you want to say the total equals the total cost of one calculator plus the other calculator. You can do that here with the total price feature that we have. So what you would do is in this shortcut, you can add a code in it that shows you that will combine the total price of those two calculators. You can also, if you want to display your prices, let's say your customers are using it to build a yearly price, but you want to also show them what it would cost monthly, you can do that with the total price as well. If you want to find out how to do that, go to features, and it's under multiple totals, and it shows you where to get this math. I think it's down here. You can divide it by 12 if you want. So what you do is you show your calculator's total price, and then you apply math divide by 12. So you'd add just a 1 before this 2 right here. And that would give your calculator total divided by 12, which would give the monthly price. So there's different options here. You can combine calculators. You can do custom math with it. You can display a total. Yeah, just all kinds of cool stuff. So we do have different pages here of the different features we have, and gives you an idea on how to use it. And sometimes there's a video at the bottom here as well, explaining on how that works. So I think for this video, we're just going to keep this video to just the settings of the calculator, and then in the next video we're going to talk about the basic elements, because I think it's we're already at 12 minutes here, so I think this is good enough for this video. A few more things about the settings. You get the font settings. This is self-explanatory. You can change the color and font of the different elements on the page. Pretty self-explanatory. Also, you can click on view quotes to open up the quote viewer. It looks like this one here doesn't have any quotes, which would make sense because we just got this video, but I can show you what it would look like with our website designer template. This is something where people actually fill out quite a bit. You can kind of use this as a little bit of a mini CRM. So what I mean by that is anytime that someone fills it out, if you want to kind of classify them here so that you can have a team of people who are going to follow up on the lead, then you can use this here to kind of show your team, okay, who's been contacted, who, if you won something, you can close and say you won it so that you build a customer, or if they decide not to go with you, you can do it lost. All kinds of cool stuff that you can do with the quotes. This is obviously for the premium version. So now there's the calculator level settings. There's the settings here at the section level. You can make this into an accordion, or you can show the total underneath the section. Those are the settings for that. And settings for there's also these settings at the bottom here too. So if you're going to connect it to PayPal, Stripe, and WooCommerce, you don't have to, but if you want to, these are your options here. You can back up your calculator, you can restore it. I always suggest backing up your calculator after spending hours building it. You never know what can happen. So definitely have a backup. Your email quote form builder means that if someone clicks on the email quote, you can customize these fields and you can add fields. So you can do a date picker, you can add an address, you can do quite a few things. So that concludes today's video for settings. In the next video, we will talk about the basic elements.